Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathleen McDonald, Executive Director of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our 28th annual meeting of the Middlesex West Chamber. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Together with the Board of Directors, I am proud to be leading this chamber, which is strengthening the 8 communities in our region by voicing support for and advocating the promotion of business. We would like to thank the Westford Regency Inn and Conference Center for their gracious hospitality and exemplary service. Thank you. Our thanks to Thomas McKinney, General Manager, and his wonderful staff for making our annual meeting such a special event. We would also like to thank our sponsors for our annual meeting, beginning with our corporate sponsors, Care One at Concord, Emerson Hospital, Middlesex Savings Bank, and Regency Hotels. Thank you, too, to our website sponsor, CMB Virtual Services, our keynote sponsor, Workers Credit Union, our media sponsor, Wicked Local, our platinum sponsor, Digital Federal Credit Union, and our gold sponsors, Acton Real Estate Company, Enterprise Bank, Shire Caton Epstein PC. And also our silver sponsors, Acton Recreation Department, Cambridge Savings Bank, Concord Tea Cakes, and the Homesteader. We would like to offer special thanks to our keynote speaker, Jamie Trowbridge of Yankee Publishing. Thank you, Jamie. The Homesteader for its wonderful media promotion. And Catherine Fow Photography for her wonderful services. Pre-Pro Events for the audiovisual services. Acton TV for broadcasting and filming this event to the Middlesex region. Jolene Sullivan, our events and membership coordinator for her wonderful efforts, and also our volunteer Philip Yang for his great efforts. It is with a tremendous sense of accomplishment that we are able to be here today to celebrate the 28th anniversary of this chamber. And I would like to share with you a few brief highlights from this past year. On May 3rd, the chamber was fortunate to have Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas come and present a legislative update for businesses. This important event was hosted by our corporate sponsor, Care One at Concord, and it was a wonderful event. On July 20th, nearly 300 chamber businesses and their employees enjoyed a great summer outing at the Chamber's Summerfest, which was graciously hosted by Kimball Farm. Everyone enjoyed Kimball's Farm's new attractions, including the popular zip line. And this year, our Summerfest will take place again at Kimball Farm on Wednesday, July 19th, so please mark your calendars. In October, the Chamber welcomed Jolene Sullivan as the new events membership coordinator. Jolene checked all of you in today, and many of you have had the true pleasure of meeting her at previous events as well. On November 15th, the entire Middlesex community enjoyed the Chamber's Taste of Middlesex food, wine, and beer extravaganza, which was hosted by our corporate sponsor, Westford Regency. This event had over 800 attendees and vendors who enjoyed this tremendously successful event. Attendees voted on the best of the best in the People's Choice Awards. Vendors competed for best presentation, best appetizer, best beverage, best entree, and best dessert. And this year's Taste of Middlesex will take place on Tuesday, November 7th at the Boxborough Regency and promises to be bigger and better than ever. In the new year, in January, the Chamber's TV program celebrated its 1-year anniversary. Our TV program is Business Matters. It's produced in conjunction with Acton TV, and it's a free benefit of chamber membership and features our chamber members. This provides them tremendous exposure. Each show receives 60-plus broadcasts in a month's time throughout the Middlesex West region and is permanently up on YouTube. So I would encourage all members who haven't already, please take advantage of this tremendous free opportunity of your membership to increase your visibility in the region. On February 27th, the Chamber honored 13 totally amazing Community and Business Award recipients at the 2017 Award Celebration and Scholarship Fundraiser that again was hosted by our wonderful corporate sponsor, Westford Regency. With over 240 people joining the celebration, this was the largest attendance in the 28-year history of this event. So what's on the horizon for this coming year? The Chamber is creating anew its Young Professionals program. We are looking forward to developing strong, lasting relationships with the next generation of business owners and leaders. The Chamber is also undertaking a very, very exciting initiative. We are launching a redesigned website this fall, a huge project that is being spearheaded by Christine Bro of CMB Virtual Services. The new website is being designed to better serve our members and their needs, as well as our 8-town region. I'd like to invite all members and non-members alike to share in the Chamber's vision, and this is our vision, to be recognized as the champion of business in Middlesex West, taking the lead in realizing a thriving Middlesex region by helping businesses, both individually and collectively, grow and succeed. As a membership organization, our strength is in our renewing committed membership. I would like to ask President Amanda Scribner to join me at the podium in recognizing our members' commitment to their chamber and to a thriving Middlesex West region through celebrating their membership anniversaries. At this time, I would like to ask those members celebrating 5, 10, 15, and 20-year anniversaries to please come forward to the front of the room. So Acton Recreation Department celebrating 5 years. Alphen and Santos, Bullock's Nursing Services, Burton's Grill, Caprera Law PC, Coldwell Residential Brokerage, Concord's Tea Cakes, Emerson Dental, Fitting Fitness Inn, Great Spaces, Levine Pirro Law. In addition, other members that are celebrating 5 years are North Acton Dental, Northbridge Insurance Agency, Northeast Numismatics, Spound Development Associates, TD Bank, and Westford Community Access Television. Celebrating 10 years of commitment to this chamber is Emerge Coaching for Success. It's right there. Juice Plus, KAC Accounting Services. Congratulations, KAC Accounting Services, our wonderful bookkeeper of the chamber. In addition, Kristen Cressman, CPA MST. Congratulations, Kristen. Neshoba Valley Auto School, Stowe Family Chiropractic, Visiting Angels, celebrating 10 years. Celebrating 15 years of commitment to this chamber and to the business community are Akaru LLC. Congratulations, Akaru. Healthcare Insights, the Three Trolls Incorporated. Celebrating 20 years of membership, Axe Brothers Tree Service, Clarity Advantage Corporation, Eckel Morgan and O'Connor, and Gilbert E. Carley, DMD. Thank you. Celebrating 25 years of commitment to this chamber and to the business community is Seacrest and Bloom. We salute you and congratulate each of you on your significant membership milestones. Those members who came to the front and all members here in this room today, we recognize and thank you for your commitment to the chamber and your investment in the continuing growth and success of the Middlesex West. You are the vital foundation of this membership organization and the key to its future. We thank you. Please enjoy your entrees as they are being served to you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 28th annual meeting of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce. My name is Amanda Scribner and I'm president of the chamber. Clerk Jennifer Scobo, do we have a quorum to hold our annual meeting?
Yes, we have a number of members.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to call the 28th annual meeting of the members of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce to order. A representative from each business member will please respond to the following motions. May I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the 2016 annual meeting? Cindy, thank you. Tony, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Do I have a motion? Jen, second. Thank you, Elijah. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Please note a unanimous vote. To conclude, may I have a motion to adjourn the annual meeting of directors portion of the luncheon meeting? Thank you, Jeff. Second? Peter? Opposed, say in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Please note a unanimous vote. Thank you. This concludes the business portion of our 2017 annual meeting. Before I leave the podium, I would like to take a moment to say thank you very much to all of the members, to my fellow board members, and to the chamber staff, Kathleen McDonald and Jolene Sullivan, for all of your support. I could not have done it without you. It's been an honor to lead this fabulous organization. And now, it is my pleasure to present to you the new president of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce, Maura Haberman.
Thank you, Amanda. It was a pleasure to serve as your vice president this past year. She's done a wonderful job, and I've got some big shoes to fill. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to serve as your new president. This is truly an honor, and I will work hard to exceed any expectations that this position holds. I look forward to working closely with our new vice president, Jeffrey Turcott, and Peter Myler, Jen Scobo, Kathleen McDonald, and Jolene Sullivan. I've met a lot of wonderful people through the chamber and established many solid relationships with our local business community. I like to say how proud I am to be a member of this vibrant chamber, and I look forward to seeing you at various networking opportunities and special events throughout the year. I'd like to take a moment to recognize our outgoing president, Amanda. Amanda worked very hard this past year during her presidency and spent countless hours doing what she does best, meeting the Chamber's mission statement of voicing support for and advocating the promotion of business. Because of her efforts, I know many of you are here today. I met Amanda when we were both at the Road Race Committee and then continued to see her everywhere. Has anyone not seen Amanda? She doesn't miss a beat. I'm happy to call Amanda my friend, and I truly admire her commitment to all that she does professionally and personally. Amanda is amazing. She continually gives to all of the chamber in addition to her very busy life. On behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to thank Amanda for her dedication, time, energy, and bringing her professional expertise to all that she does. She is a tremendous asset to this chamber. It is my pleasure to give this gift to her from the board of directors to thank her for her dedicated years as the chamber president. Thank you, Amanda. You want to come up? Thank you so much. I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. He is sponsored by Workers Credit Union, and so it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Jamie Trowbridge. The Chamber would like to thank Workers Credit Union for sponsoring our keynote speaker. Jamie Trowbridge is President and CEO of Yankee Publishing, publisher of Yankee Magazine, the Old Farmer's Almanac, New Hampshire Magazine, and other publications and websites. As a grandson of the founder, Jamie is committed to keeping the company, which is based in Dublin, New Hampshire, a successful and independent family-owned business. After graduating from Dartmouth College in 1982, he worked in the publishing field for several years in Seattle, Washington, and Cambridge, Massachusetts, before returning to beautiful New Hampshire. Jamie is a member of the board of the New Hampshire Travel Council and the independent magazine group of Magazine Publishers of America. He also serves on the board of the MacDowell Colony, America's premier artist residency program, and the Monadnock Community Hospital. Jamie and his wife Laura live in Peterborough, New Hampshire, and at this time we'd like to give him a warm welcome to the podium. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I have to tell you that at this instant, New Hampshire isn't so beautiful. I just came back from a week away in beautiful England, and where everything is green, but where I live, everything is still brown. And we were driving in from Logan last night. We drove all the way through your neck of the woods, up into my neck of woods, and there was no snow, no snow, no snow. And we drove into our driveway, gigantic pile of snow. So, welcome back, right? We do live in a beautiful part of the country, and driving down here today, I live just an hour north of here. I was reminded of how special this place is. It's really the oldest part of our country in terms of being settled, and you know, here we are in a chamber meeting that includes the town of Concord, where the American Revolution started. So we got the old thing going on hardcore right here. But when you go abroad and you go to a country that's been settled for thousands of years, you actually get a different perspective. And New England seems quite new to me today. And that actually is what I love most about New England, is the interplay of old and new. It's a place with a very rich history, but it's also a place where new things are happening and innovation is happening all the time. Yankee has been around for 80 years, and we're very proud of that, but being old in the media business isn't necessarily a plus, at least not today. As I'm sure you're aware, traditional media companies are under the gun. When someone asks me, how's business, they usually have this kind of worried look in their eyes. They're saying, that sort of says, are you guys going down? And it's a little like that skit in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where the public is pushing the public represents the guy pushing the wheelbarrow saying, bring out your dead. And I'm the guy who's saying, but I'm not quite dead yet. It is true that we have a lot to worry about today. The continuing introduction of new digital media is changing all our media consumption habits, and it's disrupting the buying habits of advertisers, who are the real money behind all the media that we consume. But the whole truth is this: at Yankee Publishing, we've always had a lot to worry about. Operating our business has been a struggle from day one, and the time in our history when things were going best, that was the time when we came closest to losing the business. So I could stand up here and tell you what's great about Yankee, and Yankee is great, but I'm not going to talk about that. I think it's probably more helpful, speaking to this audience of business people, to pull back the curtain and reveal what it's like to run what is essentially a small business, but one with national brand recognition. Basically, the history of Yankee can be boiled down to a simple repeating cycle, alternating between innovation and narrowly averted disaster. Ours is a story of persistence and ultimately of survival. So let's start with innovation. Yankee was founded at the height of the Great Depression. I don't know, my grandfather, Rob Sagendorf, was a frustrated freelance writer, and he figured that if he couldn't get his work published in somebody else's magazine, he'd just start his own. He wasn't a great writer, but he did have yeah, there was a reason he didn't get those acceptances. But he did have a good vision for a magazine, which was, with a mission was to express and perhaps indirectly preserve our great New England culture. And in the 1930s, Rob Sagendorf perceived that New England culture was threatened, that the specialness of this place was being absorbed by national trends and national chain stores. The very first issue in September of 1935 started with 612 subscribers, 600 of which were from a fraudulent mailing list. So you could say Yankee started with 12 readers, all of them family. While Yankee was experiencing its modest beginnings in 1939, we acquired the right to publish the Old Farmer's Almanac. And the Almanac was started in 1793. The edition this year is the 225th anniversary edition of the Almanac. It's the oldest continuously published periodical in North America. It goes back to when everyone was a farmer and when George Washington was still in his first term as president. When we bought it, the previous publisher had changed the content of the Almanac because he didn't believe it was relevant to modern audiences. We'd gone from an agrarian economy to an industrial economy. And all Rob Sagendorf did was change it back to what it had been, its old format, and it started to sell again. People just love the Almanac and what it stands for. We joke that it's America's most loved, least read publication. The Almanac, the success of the Almanac, carried Yankee for its formative years, and it's still a substantial part of our business. We distribute about 3 million copies a year, and it's a pretty big business, but it still has its quirks. Of course, there are long-range weather forecasts for which we are well known, and no, we don't make them by throwing darts. But that's not even scratching the surface when it comes to quirky. I could go on about the Almanac, but I can make my point with the classified ads alone. How many magazines have as their biggest category of classifieds, psychics? We have some fun with the psychics. When they call us to inquire about the deadlines, we ask, why do you have to ask us? Here are two favorite classifieds from not so long ago, and these require careful reading to truly appreciate. There's one that advertised false teeth, $6.85 on a 60-day trial basis. So you do have to wonder if the teeth you got have been tried. And here's one advertising common household items, harmless. When used, will stop groin and rectum itch, also will stop radiator leaks. You put it in your radiator, you can put it in you. It's a good all-purpose product. Buying the Almanac was probably my grandfather's smartest business decision, except for him it was purely emotional. He simply loved the Almanac and everything it stands for. So in that way, serendipity has played a huge role in the success of our company over the years. Take, for example, the genesis of one of the magazine's most popular departments, the original's Yankees Swappers column. This is that column of little ads, except we don't charge for them, in which readers offer to swap one item for another. Now, in its early days, Yankee was printed in Marlborough, New Hampshire by a small printer named Arthur Bennett. And Arthur had a set of false teeth, there's those false teeth again, that he used to take out and place on the windowsill while he was printing. And he put them next to his gin bottle. He liked to take a little gin while he was printing because this was in a rickety old shop and the register on the printer had to be, maneuvered just so. And he thought that if he was going like this and the press was going like this, then everything would come out fine. Anyway, Rob Sagendorf, who became good friends with Arthur over the years, decided to do something about his disgusting habit of taking out his false teeth and putting them there on the windowsill. And he ran a small announcement in the magazine. We'll swap one set of store teeth for a broom. And when a lady showed up at the printers with a broom, the first swap was made. Of course, much of our company's growth came in response to consumer demand. Here's another story from the early days. Our office in Dublin, New Hampshire is a classic New England structure, big house, little house, back house, barn. And we've basically been there since the company started, except to begin with, It was just that first part facing the road, a cape. And the entrance was in the front of the building, which was more like a house than an office building. And one day, Rob Sagendorf was at the office catching up on some work, and my uncle, Judd Hale, who's our current editor-in-chief, he was upstairs doing the same. There was no one else downstairs when three ladies came in, just walked in the door, Saturday, right? Excited that they'd found the offices of Yankee. They let themselves in, they wandered through the building until they found Rob Sagendorf, who at that moment was seated on the toilet in an oversized bathroom that could have passed for a small office. He's reading the New York Times. He has the Times across his lap. They recognized him right away. He'd already been on television game shows. But he had the newspaper across his lap, and they did not pick up on the fact that he was seated on the toilet. Although Rob was a gentleman, he did not rise. They were so excited to meet him. And they talked for quite a while, and Rob was even able to take down a subscription order before they left without their ever understanding his precarious situation. And after they had gone, Rob came upstairs and told Judd, "We have got to offer something for visitors to do around here other than chatting with the publisher in the bathroom." And that's how we came to start our gift shop in another nearby building. It was a gift shop for quite a while, then it was a restaurant, then it was a health food store. Sadly, none of those businesses survive to this day. You see, many of our innovations did not succeed. We've had to cut our losses over and over again, and that's hard on us Yankees, who can't stand the idea of giving up on anything. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The Yankee is one who, once he gets his teeth set on a thing, all creation can't make him let go." But just because you start doing something doesn't mean you have to do it forever. I think that killing off projects in business is just as important as starting new ones. In fact, they go together. If you're trying to do too many things, you can't do any of them well and everything unravels. It's a little like that circus act in which the performer is spinning plates balanced on a rod, and he keeps putting up plates on rods and spinning them, but he has to keep on spinning them. And if he doesn't get back to the first place in time to give it another spin, it all comes crashing down. Plus, there's always the question of whether doing more and different things is really going to address your challenges, or is it just going to create new ones? In 1970, Rob Sagendorf, on his deathbed, called my father and my uncle to his side, and he said famously, "Don't grow the business anymore, boys." They were astonished by this advice, and they asked, "Why not?" "Because," my grandfather said, "the plumbing won't take it." Sounds like some of you might have offices like ours. Well, as luck would have it, what followed was a decade and a half of enormous growth for the company. Huge growth in the circulation of Yankee and the Old Farmer's Almanac, driven by a perfect storm of market forces. The advertising salespeople sat at their desks and took orders. They had to cut off each issue of Yankee at 320 pages because the staples couldn't bind any more than that. We extended the brands, and we started new magazines and a trade book division. And most importantly, we invested in the quality of the magazines, putting Yankee on the national stage. This run of success was just long enough to convince us that we finally knew what we were doing. And the consequences of that assumption were devastating. We thought, we're so good at publishing magazines, we should buy a whole bunch of them. And for different reasons, the magazines we bought turned out to be very poor investments. Those decisions really set us back, and it took us a decade to climb out of the financial hole we had dug for ourselves. And since then, we've watched every nickel we spend. That turns out, for us at least, to be a healthier way to operate. Of course, one of our recent innovations was increasing the size of Yankee magazine. How many of you remember when Yankee was small? Anybody here remember? Yeah, lots of hands. Okay. Well, I may have heard from some of you in January of 2007. We got about 2,000 customer contacts in the space of a month, letters, emails, and phone calls. All but 25 customers employed the following aphorism in their feedback. Now, I'll say the first part, you say the second. If it ain't broke, There we go. Well, it would take more time than I have here today to explain all the reasons we decided to change the size of Yankee, but I'll just say this. Yankee was broke, and it had to be fixed. We were so reluctant to make that change that we delayed it at least 5 years longer than we should have, mostly because we knew our readers would be upset. And we were right. One suggested I spend the weekend in the stocks. Another suggested self-dosed poisons might be in order. I remember in particular a long conversation with a reader who argued that we should just shut our doors rather than change the size of the magazine. The reactions of Yankee readers reinforce the truth in that old joke about Yankees. You know the one about how many Yankees it takes to screw in a light bulb? Does anybody know? It takes two. One to screw in the light bulb, and one to talk about how good the old one was. 10 years later, most of our customers have come down out of the trees, and some will even admit to me that they like it better now, the magazine, at the larger size. Of course, these days, it's not enough for us to just publish a magazine. The demands on us as a media company are greater than ever. In fact, I expect the demands on all of us in this room are greater than ever in business. Whether you work for a business or a nonprofit or a college or the government, I expect you're struggling to keep up with everything you're supposed to be doing. For us at Yankee Publishing, in addition to our magazines, books, calendars, and annuals, we now produce events, websites, apps, e-newsletters, digital editions, tablet editions, blogs, podcasts, videos, and social media posts. In fact, every week we hear about some new innovation we have to adopt to keep up with the 21st century. After a while, it gets to be too much. As a small business, we've had to admit we can't do everything we're supposed to be doing. We have to pick our spots. Some of that is sticking to what is fundamental to our business and success. I admit I've made a few decisions that have taken Yankee off course, and I've had to backtrack, go back to fundamentals. Of course, it's not enough to keep on keeping on. We have to earn our stripes every day. I'd like to think our longevity counts for something, but it doesn't really. No one wakes up in the morning and thinks to herself, today I've got to run out and buy a magazine. No one standing in a magazine rack thinks, this magazine's been around for a long time, I should buy this one. At Yankee, we're competing with everything people might do in their free time. Our real competition is Netflix. Like it or not, we are all competing in the attention economy. If you don't surprise and delight your customers, they will not pay you any attention, let alone any money. That's why the surest investment that we can make at Yankee is not in the latest new method of delivering our content. The best investment we can make is in the quality of our content. Because more than anything, we need your experiencing of consuming the magazine or the website or the app to be fantastic. And when you're done, we need you to think, that was great, I want to do it again. When our content no longer demands your attention, that's the end of this survival story. As a publisher, we have to strive to be better than ever at a time when our resources are stretched to thinner than ever. Frankly, it can be exhausting to keep rolling that rock up the hill, especially for those of us who have been doing this for a while. We have to wonder if we still have what it takes to prevail in this industry. You know, one of my favorite things that we published in the Old Farmer's Almanac in recent years was a reader contest about marriage proposals. We asked readers to submit their own stories about how the question was popped. The winning stories were great, really sweet, but this runner-up is the one I'll never forget. One woman wrote us about the day she got engaged. She wrote, I was in the kitchen, and my boyfriend yelled from the other room where he was watching TV, honey, can you get me a beer? Then, when I brought it to him, he looked up from the couch and he asked, how'd you like to do this full time? Can you believe that didn't win?
Did she say yes?
Apparently. So how'd you like to do this full time? That's the question all of us at Yankee and everyone in the media industry is having to ask themselves these days. It's a dynamic, exciting, ever-changing, and uncertain environment. But how'd you like to do it full time? Ironically, As daunting as the challenges we face may seem, it's possible that small publishers, like Yankee, may very well be qualified to find their way in a new and sustaining publishing model. We have loyal readers and good access to a base of advertisers, and that buys us time. We don't have a ton of overhead. We don't have shareholders breathing down our necks. That gives us room to maneuver and to plan for the long haul. In the 1990s, I felt that size was the future of magazine publishing. Big media companies had the power to aggregate ad sales and create economies of scale. But one of the things I've always liked about the publishing business is there's no one successful model. We all get to success by different paths. And the internet, which has wreaked havoc on our industry, is the great equalizer. Now we can all produce media only the big guys could before and attract customers that were previously out of reach. In the depths of the Great Recession, I don't think I would have said this, but I'm starting to feel more optimistic that we can figure this out. So yes, I'd like to keep doing this full time, or to put it another way, in the immortal words of Jerry Garcia, somebody has to do something, and it's just incredibly pathetic that it has to be us. In closing, I want to share a quotation I've got tacked up on the wall next to my desk that helps me keep my perspective when I feel that things are changing too quickly and the odds are against us. Or when I need a pick-me-up after learning that a new media business with 13 employees and no revenue just sold for $1 billion. Goddamn Instagram. The quote's from Calvin Coolidge, a Vermonter. Although there have been many presidents from New England with strong Yankee values, many of them more effective in that office than Silent Cal was, somehow Coolidge managed to out-Yankee them all. Coolidge was thrust into the role of president when President Harding died suddenly in 1923. He must have had his doubts, as we all do, about his prospects for success. But this practical and straightforward approach to addressing challenges must have been a comfort to him, as it has been to me. He said famously, "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Genius, unrewarded genius, is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, 'Press on,' has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race." I wish you each great success. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Jamie. That was so insightful and so engaging. Thank you so much. Before we conclude today, we have our wonderful Middlesex West Chamber's longstanding commitment to giving back to the 8 communities it serves. And one of the most important ways we do that is giving back through its dedication to its scholarship program. Your participation in this Chamber's Super 50/50 raffle directly benefits the scholarship program, and I'm pleased to announce that this year, due to your wonderful, generous support, the Chamber is awarding 5 scholarships to graduating seniors in our region. Congratulations to all of you for that wonderful support and generosity. Now we'd like to find out the winner of this wonderful Super 50/50 raffle, and I'd like to ask our keynote speaker to do the honor of drawing the winning ticket. Jamie? So in closing, we would like to just remind our board of directors that Catherine Pfau is going to be taking a photograph of all the directors for the 2017-2018 board year. And in conclusion, I'd like to thank you so very much for coming today. And thank you again for your commitment and your involvement with the Middlesex West Chamber. Together, we are working towards a thriving Middlesex West region. Thank you so much.